So hello everyone, can you confirm if you can hear me? We'll be starting soon as we have a little more people joining in. So I hope all of you guys are doing well and are safe, and your prep is also going well. Today I'm just going to talk about some queries that I have, and if you guys have any question, just ask me about it and I'll try my best to answer that as well. So just share the link with anyone who you think this session will be useful for, and then we can start. Great. Can you guys confirm if you can hear me? Hello. Can you guys hear me? Hello, guys. Can you confirm if you can hear me? Okay, great. I think I've got some responses here. Great. So, yeah. So, I had floated a Google form where we got some responses. So, I'll begin by answering those doubts. Right. So, yeah, just let me open that. So I got a lot of queries regarding the save score for Ipmat, right? So save score is something which is very relative, to be honest. For some, it might be 180 out of 400. For some, it might be 240 or even more. So I appeared in 2020. So I belong to the 2020-25 batch of IIM Indore, and what I think I got was around 160, and that was out of 240. So I think a safe score for like those that pattern was around 160. And if you talk about having 400 mark papers, then you can take it around 180, 190, but again depends on the category and also on the way your interview goes. So the aptitude test that you will be giving carries a weightage of 65%, and the interview would be carrying around a weightage of 35%. You guys won't have that for IIM Indore. Right, so I'll move on to the next question now. Um, so syllabus, we've already made a lot of videos regarding the syllabus on our channel. So I would suggest that you go and have a look at that. Right. Um, Furthermore, let's move on to the next questions. Um, So regarding the notary of 10th class mark sheet, that is something which you have to do for official purposes. They need to have a record of the students that they are going to take in. So you need to go to a local notary and just get it attested and upload it. Right. So again, I got a lot of requests regarding I'm a dropper and what I should do to crack IPMAT in 3 months. So again, that is very subjective because I have some friends from science background and from other backgrounds as well who gave IPMAT as a backup option, and they didn't even study for it. Some didn't even give a single mock, and they still managed to get in. And I also have friends who've prepped for around 6 7 months, and they still got in. So it is really subjective, to be honest. It all depends on how well you've actually prepared your foundation base in mathematics and how good you are in communication in English language. So based on that, I'll be able to give you a better estimate, but just asking that question I won't be able to help you out. But what from what I can gauge, if you prepare very well for these 3 months and if your basics are very clear, then you have a very good chance of cracking IPMAT. Right. So something about Ipmat. I tried searching for Ipmat today, but there is no official update yet. However, just in case there is any update, just make sure that you subscribe to the channel, and we would bring you any of those updates as well. Right. So this live session is just about clearing your doubts, to be honest. So yeah. I am no. My college is not this lavish. I'm not in my college right now. My college has no AC, but yeah, I'm at my house, and I hope you're doing well as well. Which books did you follow? So I was mostly using the test materials and the books which are handed out by these big classes only, and then occasionally I used to go on YouTube, search for a few videos, and solve questions like that. So yeah. So I am a SC candidate. What will be the cutoff and safe score for IIM Indore or Ranchi? So for SC, the cutoff is relatively lower. I don't know the exact cutoff, but you can aim at around 100 to 120 for getting a good chance of getting into the next round, right? So yeah. So can you please tell me how much you attempted your in your verbal section? So I had around 30 questions in verbal ability. So I attempted at least 25 to 26 questions. There were two parajumbles where I didn't know. And by default, I assume, and I tell all the students who are in UniVoyage as well, just to assume that all the questions in parajumbles do have negative marking to be on the safer side, although there is a confusion regarding there is negative marking or not. So I just tell everyone that assume it to be negative. So even I followed that funda, and I did not attempt two of the parajumbles, and I think I left one of the summaries, I guess. And even after that, I think I made two to three mistakes. So I must have got around 70 to 80 out of 120 in verbal. That's what I believe. I don't know my score, obviously, because the people who get selected are not told this course. So for how long the class will be online? So the classes are not online right now. We had a compulsory offline term for the last 2 months. We were called on campus, and we gave our final exams on campus as well. So I think everyone is calling the students back to the universities, I guess. Yes. So my boards got over last week. I am free for the next 3 months. Param asked, and what should be my schedule? So Param, again, as I said before, it depends on your foundational knowledge of mathematics and your grasp over English as well. So I would recommend that study consistently on a daily basis more than just taking like studying for 3 hours on a particular day. That would really help you, and do whatever suits you as well, but just make sure that you study on a consistent daily basis. Try to cover all the foundational mathematical topics like algebra, geometry, and stuff like that. And if you practice consistently, I'm sure that you'll be in a very good position to crack IPMAT. So another question I get very often is that I'm very weak in English. What should I do to crack IPM? Right. So if you are weak in English, there is no miracle that can change that in a month or two. Right. You need to make sure that you do read a lot. So reading a lot would enable you to actually perform better. Right. And that would also help you in improving comprehending skills. So when you read something, you should understand what it means and what is the actual meaning of what is being said. So that's comprehending. So your comprehending skills should improve as you read, and along with that, you should focus on building some vocabulary as well as learn some grammar rules along with it as well, which could help you in some fill in the blanks or some questions in which they ask you to identify the correct or incorrect option as well. So that is the only way out. You need to read, and only then will you be able to attempt a lot of questions in the paper. So again, regarding verbal ability, I've already spoke. Um, a rate out of 10 your overall experience in IPM. IIM Indore. So my experience at IIM Indore is fabulous. It's a beautiful place to be. It's a campus which is located on a hillock, and the views there are amazing. Though we have to walk a lot, it's something worthwhile, and even the peers, the people there are really really smart, and it's a great experience being with them and learning with them. The aspect of peer learning which comes in, and the different things you can do on campus, those are just surreal. It's a very, very enriching experience, and I consider myself really lucky to be a part of this institute as well. So Priyanshu, I gave around 3 to 4 months, I guess, for preparing for IPMAT Indore. I also gave other exams like NPAT, SET, IPMAT, Rohtak, and Christ as well. I got in there, but then eventually I chose IIM Indore, obviously. So, hey, please tell me, how should I manage my boards and IPMAT together? Abhash is asking me that. So managing boards and IPMAT is something which we've already covered a lot in our videos, and what I would tell you is that if you can remove an hour or so daily, just try to do that. And on the day on which you have papers, the day before that, don't study a lot about IPMAT. Focus on what paper you have. But on all other days, if you can remove an hour or two so that you can, let's say, revise some mathematical formulae, and along with that, if you can consistently read newspapers or anything which you like, anything which would help you in keeping your mind fresh, and again comprehending whatever you read would be a great practice for IBM and all, right? So just make sure that you keep reading, you keep learning new words, you keep implementing grammar rules. The grammar rules can be tricky sometimes, so make sure that you have a look at that as well, and I think that should suffice. I'm not saying that that will definitely be help you crack IPMAT Indore. It also depends on your foundation aspects as well. So whenever your boards get over, make sure that you give all your time and attention to preparing for maths and learning short tricks, right? Because that's something which will help you a lot, right? Then Yuvraj asked me strategy to crack quantitative part in IPMAT. So one would obviously be the ABC technique, which all of you must have heard. Since you guys are most likely going to have a paper which would be a 400 marks, it is very, very important that you guys choose the questions that you're doing. So let us say that I am stuck on a question which is, let's say, the fourth in the paper, and I can't solve the question, but it belongs to a topic which has learned thoroughly. Let's say the question is from coordinate geometry, and the question is not solvable. So I should not let my ego get in the way and say that I have studied this very well, so I have to solve this question. You can't be picky in the examination. You have to be rational. So apply the ABC technique, which is already covered a lot. And if you don't know the ABC technique, I'll tell you about it. And apart from that, when you apply it, you will obviously segregate it into three categories. So do the first ones first, then do the later ones later, and then the ones which you're not going to do, just leave them. That will really, really help you in boosting your scores. Apart from that, you should make sure that you practice calculations on a daily basis. Like, there are so many percentages and all which you should know, and on your fingertips, right? Like if I say 87.5, so what is 87.5? So 12.5 is 1 by 8, 87.5 is 7 by 8, I think, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. So all these things you should have on your fingertips, because when you do calculations for solving questions in IPMAT, this is something which will really, really help you. So ensure that your calculating speeds are very, very good, and you follow the ABC technique, and you just make rational decisions. You don't fluke any question. So I remember that I fluked three questions, and two of them I'm sure that I got wrong, and even the third one I think I did get wrong. And even after that, I ended up getting in. But I would say that don't fluke, because in the exam you would be tempted to fluke some answers. Let's say I think that this question might be very easy to solve, so I'll just fluke it and I'll not attempt it. So just make sure that you don't fluke any questions. You are very consistent with how you go about your preparation, and that should suffice. So Nikhil asks, will IIFT be a better option than IIM Rohtak or Ranchi? So again, it personally depends on what kind of curriculum you are opting for. IIM Rohtak offers a curriculum which is more specific to business administration, so therefore it offers a BBA program, while IIM Indore offers a Bachelor's of Arts and Foundations of Management. So it really depends on what kind of program you get into. Again, IIFT will release the main curriculum and regarding the other LGBT criteria on May 2, if I'm not wrong. And once that notification comes out, we'll obviously help you by putting out a video on that as well. So, how to solve DI in a short time with it asked. So, solving DI in a short time would mean that you have to have insane calculation speeds. If you are very good at calculation, that is not something you need to be worried about. Right. So then I have a question from Ruchika. Like, I will give exam in 2023. For now, I should focus on coaching material only, or should go for other books like Arun Sharma, Word Power Me, DC, etc. So, Ruchika, I believe that you should try out whatever works best for you. Right. So for me, coaching material used to work a lot more better than these books because I used to get intimidated by the questions that were there. So I usually stuck to coaching material only, and stuff like Arun Sharma I didn't use. And for English, I totally refer to the internet. I used to write down 3 to 4 new words every day, phrases every day, and used to understand the grammar rules and then apply it. So therefore, I didn't even open Word Power Made Easy, right? So that is something which I didn't do. But again, for some people, it might work. So it totally depends on you and how you want to proceed, right? So again, Astha's I'm not able to balance class 12 studies with IPMAT prep. How to balance? So I answered this previously. Astha, just ensure that you don't study one day before the exam for for IPMAT. Focus on the topic that you have, just the particular subject that you are having. So let's say I have a maths board exam tomorrow. So don't study about for IPMAT on that day. See, in boards, you have a lot of stepwise marking, right? In boards, if you don't write this particular part, you won't get a mark, right? So it's like 4 marks. Everything is pre-decided that you'll get a 1 mark for this, 1 mark for this. In IPMAT, there is no specific step marking. In IPMAT, it's A, B, C, or D. So you have to choose one, and there is no step marking. All of these things depend on your calculation speed. So if you have good calculation speed, you don't need to show the working. So you should just know how to solve questions regularly and fast, right? So if you can do that, then everything would be very very easy for you. So you should make sure that you balance these things out, and if you can remove an hour or so daily, that'll be great. Ansh asks me that do we need to study grammar? So obviously you do need to study grammar. If you haven't checked out the papers of the previous years, just make sure that you do so. Right, so we have a Vedika fan here called Vismay. So Vismay, you could try your luck on Telegram. If she responds to you, then you might be the lucky one. So Akash asks that how much free time do you have in IIM? Like you started UniVoyage, etc. Like in terms of okay. So totally depends on the person, to be honest. So it's different for me, it's different for someone else. Some of us are working at very uh, early stage growth startups as well. We're interning there. Some of us have our own startup. Some of us have something or the other going on. So for me, I personally have 2 to 3 hours a day where I could spend with my family, chill with my friends, and do other stuff, right? So apart from that, I'm mostly studying for the tests, quizzes, and term midterms that we have. And at all other times, I am either working on the product of UniVoyage or talking to vendors or stuff like that, right? So, Vamshi asks, bro, are you in IIM? I now? Yes, I am in IIM Indore. I've completed my second year and I belong to the 20 batch, for those of you asking. So, Rohan Garg asked me how you attempted your RC. So there are a lot of ways in which you can attempt RCs, right? So one is that you read the whole passage first and then you go on to read the questions. That is the conventional way. But there are a lot of other ways of reading as well, some of which involve like just skimming through the questions once and then going to the RC. So when you're reading the RC, you have those questions in mind, and therefore you will be able to answer those questions better because you know like this question can be fitted into this paragraph. I think this paragraph contains an answer to question 4. So that is another technique. And then the third technique which I've heard of is that you can just skim through the RC, just pick up the rough storyline of what's going on, and then move on to the questions, and then again go back to the RC when you want the answer to a specific question. So it all depends on you and what works for you, to be honest. So try out all of these strategies in your mocks. Give 3 mocks using strategy 1, give another 3 using strategy 2, and another 3 using strategy 3. So then just see whichever strategy works better for you and whichever one you're getting more marks, and then you could stick to that when you give the actual Ipmat examination, right? So Pulkit asked, what is a good score for Nirma University? So I'm not really aware of that. But again, if you could keep it at least in 3 digits, around 130, 140, it'll be great, because 123 and 107, I think, are the last 2 years cutoff of IIM Indore. So if you could maintain that, it'll be great. So NMIMS IPM. I don't think NMIMS offers IPM for management. I think it's for engineering, and I do not have a lot of clue about that as well. So yeah. So no, I'm not on campus, guys. My campus does not have a like AC in our room. So yeah, we're not that fortunate, but yes. Um, So Anshuman asked me that how much do IPM students have to study inside IIM Indore. So we have to study like crazy. We have relative grading, and therefore we need to perform relatively well among our peers. So it's not like if you get a 18 on 20 in a test, you get 90%. There can be all of the students can get 19 or 20 out of 20, and you can still fail in that as well. Though that's a very rare possibility, and that might not happen. But the thing is that again you have to be the best among your peers, and only then will you get a good grade. So that makes us work hard for those marks, because everyone would have to study hard to beat each other, kind of. So that's really sometimes stressful, and therefore we need to make sure that we study very hard. So yeah. So, Ashutosh, regarding the books that you want to study for quantitative aptitude, verbal ability, and logical reasoning, um, that is something which we already covered in a lot of videos previously there on our channel, so you could refer to the same. And Akshat asks, is IIFT GG? So IIFT, the one which is offering the IPM program is Kakinada, IIFT Kakinada, and that is something which I've not really heard a lot of good reviews about. But again, it depends on what you would opt for. Uh, but I haven't studied a lot about the program, because the announcement of the same is going to be on May 2, the official announcement containing all the details. So I think we should wait till then. Don't quit. Our summer vacations are not going on. Actually, we are doing a summer internship, the social internship at the end of the second year. It is mandatory. So at the end of second year, every student has to go through a internship in the CSR domain, or the um, any particular internship which is related to social welfare or stuff like that. So we have a social internship which we need to do at the end of year 2, and that is something which all of us in our batch are undergoing right now. So Seema Singh asked me about what about the extracurriculars. So we do have a lot of activities at IIM Indore. We have a huge cricket stadium, a football stadium, many badminton courts. We have a basketball court, volleyball court. We have all the facilities available. We also have outlets like Amul, Chick-fil-A. Yeah, and apart from that, we have Nestle and other particular outlets as well, which you can go to anytime you like. I think it's open till about 2 3 a.m. some of them, and then most of them just shut after that. Yeah. So, any more questions? So, Chinmay, this year competition could be among 50,000 aspirants. I honestly do not know. Last year it was around 30,000, if I'm not wrong, and this year I'm expecting it to go at least 20 30% above that as well, because four institutions are accepting IIM Indore score, right? So there is obviously going to be more participation. That's what I believe. Uh, yes, so there are salons on campus for whoever is asking that. And again, regarding the important books, we already have a lot of videos regarding that as well, so you can check that out. Um, so what if I score more in quants and less in LR and in less in, okay, I didn't get what you're saying. But the thing is that you have to pass the sectional cutoff that IIM Indore has set for each and every year. So sometimes the LR cutoff is higher. Sorry, the verbal ability cutoff is higher than the quant SC and quant MCQ. That is usually at 50%. Like it's if the paper is around 160 marks, you can expect the quant cut the verbal ability cutoff to be around 80 to 84. And similarly, if there is QMCQ में around 160 marks के questions, then you can expect it to be around 60. And similarly for quantitative aptitude short answer, you can expect it to be around at least 24 to 28. That is the least you can expect the sectional cutoff to be. So you have to make sure that you um, clear all these three cutoffs in order to get selected for the next round. Uh, then yeah, hi Rohan. I hope to meet you soon at campus as well. Uh, okay. So Adarsh, your question regarding you're getting 16 marks. Is there any chance I can make it to IIM even now? So again, if you can improve your performance in the particular domains and make sure that you perform well in each and every section, you can get. But 60 is something which you can start with. But again, you need to make sure that you pump it up to at least 150 to 180 when you give the 400 mark examination. And in case you're still looking for a coaching center or stuff, there are already a lot of options available. And if you want to crack IIM Indore, you could offer UniVoyage as well. We are offering courses right now at around 7,999, and we take live classes 5 days a week for quants from 8 to 9:15 as well. If you are interested in joining the classes and are serious about preparing for IIM Indore, you could offer the same. Um, Now, Priyanshu asked a question: were you a commerce student? So, yes, I was a commerce student with maths when I was in 12th. And then I came to IIM Indore, and right now I'm studying the Bachelor's of Arts in Foundations of Management. So Utsaha says that I'm in 11th class. I have only 78% in 10th. I lost all the hope to get into IIM. So again, Utsaha, the criteria that we have is 60% or above. So don't get disheartened by that. You can still prepare well and get a good aptitude test score and get into IIM Indore. So I'll just take the queries which people from the form had asked. So then I can move on to the questions which are there in the live chat. So regarding the safe scores, I've already told you at the start of the stream. And now let us go to other questions. Can I subscribe to UniVoyage course after the exam just for the interview preparation as well? So yes, we would be rolling out some interview prep courses as well. You could subscribe to that as well. Um, so you lost all your certifications and mark sheets off before class 10. So if you have lost your certificates, I would suggest that try to get hold of at least a copy of the same, because you would require to submit those 10th or 12th grade sheets, right? So this is another question which I get very often: that do you need national extra level extra curricular activities to get in? So no, you don't need any extraordinary national extracurricular activities. I myself don't have any particular achievement in sports or not over the top grades as well, and I still got in. So most of the interview part is focused on your academics, and they want to get to know about you and your communication skills. So if you are able to ace that part, there is nothing which you can't do, right? So you need to make sure that more than the certifications and stuff that you have, you need to make sure that your academics are sorted out. And if that is something which is already taken care of, then the other part is not very essential, to be honest. But again, in case, like, let's say you've played a sport at a state level, or you're a state level Kathak dancer or something, that obviously gives you little brownie points as well, right? So Anjali asked me what type of GK do we have to study for interviews. So regarding the GK in interviews, it again totally depends on the interviewer, to be honest, because some people just get to the academics part and then you can go ahead and talk about academics. But some people also ask you about the current affairs and stuff like that. So it is totally different and depends on the interview. So you are from IB currently in 11th grade, and I only have a month to prepare for IPMAT. And is it possible for me to get in? So, Kalika, if you are aware of the marking scheme and all the topics which are taught, and if you could study the same inside a period of one like if you're in 11th, how do you have 1 month? I don't get it. Anyway, so assuming that you're in 12th, you can again prepare diligently. I would suggest that prepare on a daily consistent basis more than just doing it on a weekend or something like that. And if you do that, and I'm assuming that your verbal ability skills would be great, because IB does require you to submit a lot of research papers and as well. So therefore, I'm assuming you have good comprehending skills. That would again give you an edge over others. But again, it has a lot of disadvantages, right? IPMAT. So tell you why it is very difficult to get into IIM Indore. Because first of all, you have IPM at Indore. And now what makes IPM at Indore difficult? First thing is that it is timed. So you only have 40 minutes, not more, not less, to attempt a particular section. Okay. On top of that, you have sectional cutoff for each and every section. What this does is, like, let us say I am very good at math. I clear both the math sections, but I'm not able to clear the verbal ability section. So this again makes it very difficult for me, because I have to make sure that I'm moderately good at all the three sections, right? And if that is not enough, then the time constraint which is there is humongous, right? You need to make sure that if you don't know a question, just move on. Because if you are stuck to one question, that time which you could have given to solve another question, that is something which you need to make sure that you master when you're giving the actual exam, because you need to maximize your score, right, by being rational. And if this is not enough, then IPM at Indore also has negative marking. So if you fluke, then you have a high probability of getting the answer wrong as well. So this is what makes IPMAT so difficult. And even after this, after the first round, then you have your round of interviews where they quiz you, they grill you about various topics that you've previously studied. So, particularly, it's not very difficult, to be honest. Again, difficult is something which is very subjective. But I would say that if you are preparing consistently and you're very diligent with your studies, you know what's going on in your class. If you're a commerce student, if you know what the law of supply is, what the law of demand is, what is Keynesian macroeconomics, and the basic terms, then you shouldn't have a problem. Let's say if you know about what is diminishing marginal utility and how to derive it using derivation. These are also some kind of questions which are asked in the IPMAT in our interviews as well. So Akshat, we plan to launch mocks next month. We are trying our best, because we need to make sure that we maintain the quality when we deliver the mocks to you, right? So that is something which is a essential focus for us. So Vismay asked, dude, I'm a JE aspirant as well. Will my JE percentile put an edge over other students? No. This is a myth. Your JE percentile does not matter in the IPMAT in the interview. Obviously, it makes a impression on the panel that, okay, if this person has got this percentile, he would be something like this, but nothing else. And then they might also quiz you on a lot of science based topics as well. So you need to make sure that you check, you revise those topics as well, right? um, then I'll just go to the other um, questions as well. Rohan, so Rohan, we didn't actually have a personal interview. We had a video-based assessment. We had a VPA. You can search up online regarding what is that. We had three questions that were asked in our VBA, and we had to send in a 1 minute video each for those questions. We had a 85% weightage on our aptitude test and 15% weightage on the VBA, and based on that, the selection was done. Whereas Rohtak did have a interview round that year in 2020 when I was giving, and they also had a high emphasis on the 10th and 12th board scores as well. So Akarsh, the dark side of IIM Indore, that is something which you will need to find out when you come to IIM Indore. If I spill all the beans here, then what is the point, right? So is there any kind of scholarship for IPM IIM Indore students? So Akanksha, like it totally depends, right? So if you are, let us say, from a particular background, then there are scholarships which are offered. So let for students who belong to Madhya Pradesh, the government sponsors their education. We have a lot of students who take that option as well. Again, if you fall under a particular income category, and then for PGP, when you go from IPM to PGP, there are multiple scholarship available on the basis of merit as well, and there is NBFA scheme, but that only views of the interest as far as I have heard of it. So it doesn't pay for the whole loan, and that also is you're eligible for that if you fall under a particular income category. Utsa, so you living in Indore won't be a plus point for you. Yeah. Um, then let me check other questions. You guys have really interesting questions here, and I will try to answer as many of them as I can. In case I miss your question, just make sure that you put it again. You can just um, put an emoji or something, some weird emoji, so it is noticeable for me. Yeah. Um, so can you tell me a few math questions asked in PI? So again, it depends on who your interviewer would be. Like they can, as I said, they can ask you to derive, let's say, marginal, diminishing marginal utility using derivation. If you're a commerce kid, right? So it depends. Then what are the questions you had? Akshat, you're too scared of the competition, so you don't need to be very scared. If you watched my interaction video with Professor Siddharth Rastogi, you'll understand that out of these 30,000 students, a very less number of them actually prepare for the same. And if you are here watching this live with me talking to the camera, I'm sure that you are one of the diligent students, and if you study hard, you're sure part of that small group of students who are diligently preparing. And I hope to see you soon at Planet I. um, Yuvraj, you can check out the categories which are there for admission on the IIM Indore site, and I am pretty sure they don't have a ex-serviceman. They have SC, ST, EWS, and so on. They have those kind of categories, and if it is there, it might be on the website. But I'm very sure that they don't have a specific quota for that, right? Um, Yes, Anjali, you have to stay in your IIM Indore hostel because we do pay for that as well, and it's a very good experience to stay at your hostel. It's very enriching, and again the kind of fun that you have. We have also done a room tour, right? So in that I was skateboarding my way through the first floor, and it was very fun. Like you get to interact with all the people with which are who are there. You get to interact with juniors, seniors, and so on. So it's a very good experience, to be honest. And so regarding IPM Lucknow, they have not announced anything as of now. So I am in no place to give you any information on that. As soon as they give any information, I promise that UniVoyage will inform you through the Telegram group as well as the YouTube channel as well, right? So make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and apart from that, also join a Telegram group for any updates that are there regarding IPM. I'll put the link for the same here, and yeah. So high level questions are not really asked in IPMAT if you um, like say, because for me what a high level question might be is different, right? So if you are very good with the basics, you would definitely be able to solve the question, because what they do is that they usually combine two three concepts together and ask a question. So you need to make sure that you are studying very well and diligently for each and every section, and as long as you do that, there is no major trouble that you would have to face, right? Apart from that, I am a dropper, so I don't remember anything of 12th. So, Sahil, I would suggest that go back to your books which you had written notes in and then revise them. Um, Rajeshwari asked me how are the hostels and mess. So, I don't think I'll be able to give a very good answer to that, and you should find out for yourself when you get in here. Hopefully through UniVoyage. Yeah. Anyway, so what do you think about IPM at IFT? Is it worth it? So we don't have a lot of information regarding it. The thing is that they are accepting IPM at Indore scores, so you'll anyway have to prepare for IPM at Indore, right? So make sure that you prepare for that exam. Um, what is the advantage of OBC candidate in IPMAT exam? So they have a lower sectional cutoff for each of the sections, and that's about it. And 35% of the seats, around 35, I don't exactly remember the distribution, but a large percentage of the seats are reserved for NC OBC candidates as well. So yeah. So you're a science student, so my interview would be based on PCM, and also droppers would barely remember. So again, if you're a dropper, guys, please make sure that you revise all your concepts for the current college you're in, as well as for 12th as well, because it is very important, because the interviewers would definitely ask you regarding the fact that how have you been coping with taking a drop, and what have you undertaken for this year apart from preparing for IIM Indore, right? You would obviously have been preparing for IIM Indore, but you need to justify other things that you did as well, because they want a diligent student who prepares diligently, who studies very very well, and someone who is socially conscious and contextually relevant. So yeah. Anjali, the rules are not very restrictive for female students. It totally depends on your definition of restrictive, to be honest. So we can roam around it anytime we want. There is no in time, out time for us within the campus. So yeah, yeah, we do have a lot of parties in campus. That's true. So yeah, Akarsh, like hostel rooms are different. Rules are about the same for all the students there. Yeah, let me ask. Let me answer some questions which are here. So again, someone asked me, is it possible to get NC OBC certificate after class 12th? So it depends on if you are NC OBC, and if there is a legit certificate which is there, then the authorities will surely consider you to be NC OBC candidate, right? Regarding the quant section, I've already told you how can I crack IPM at in 2.5 months. As I said, you need to be very good with the foundations of mathematics you have, as well as have a grasp over verbal ability. If those are the conditions you're satisfying and you're preparing diligently, then definitely you'll be a very good uh, suit for IPMAT, and very very good pick for IIM and right. So again, other questions. So a lot of students are asking about LR and IPM at Indore. So LR is not really asked, but like last year there was a question based on reasoning as well, but that was also very basic, right? So it totally depends on what do you consider as reasoning or quant. Um, So, I'm also getting a very large number of questions regarding when to give mocks. Should I give mocks right now or should I give mocks later? So, I would suggest that give mocks when you have adequately prepared for the topics as well. One mock you can give before you have done anything, just to know where you actually stand. Give the all the mocks that you give, please give it very diligently, so you know your exact standing as well. Try to take as less number of breaks as you can during giving the mock, and then analyze each and every question. If you fluked a question, note the particular question down and how you have to solve that question. If you've done something wrong, then again go ahead and see how the particular question can be solved as well. So yeah. um, so campus tour part 2, it's something which is coming up soon, right? We are trying our best to give you the best quality videos as possible. And guys, if you haven't liked the particular live stream, then just take a moment to like the same, because it really helps putting our channel out there to users who genuinely need some guidance regarding IPMAT. And we are trying our best to give complete and concise information regarding IPMAT, and we try to make sure it is as clear as possible to you guys as well. So just take a moment and hit the like button. It will be a great thing for us, right? Then moving on to other questions that we have. Um, how much time do we get between interview and IPMAT exam results? So we have around I think 3 to 4 weeks, or sometimes even 2 weeks before we get to know about our interview date. And then once the date is communicated, you can take about a week or so from there when the interview start and so on. Uh, so is it worth for a middle class student to enroll in IIM Rohtak and IIM Ranchi? So first of all, you can't enroll in both. Secondly, again, it totally depends on whether you have an affinity to join that program, if you like the curriculum which is out there. And if you do, then you can definitely go ahead and join, right? Moving on. So I can see a question: is YouTube blogging allowed in IIM Indore campus? So YouTube blogging is something which is not really restricted. If I think you mean vlogging, so vlogging is definitely allowed, and blogging is something which is writing articles, right? So that is, there is no restriction on the same. And how many students get approximately selected for the interview? Yuvraj, it is around 900 to 950. Like you can take a range of around 850 to 950, including all the categories, right? So that is the range of students that get selected for the second round, and from that there would be 150 students ka intake which is there, right? And then someone asked me, is UniVoyage providing test series? So we are not currently providing test series, but we definitely provide a crash course. If you like the content which is there in the demo course, you can definitely go ahead and buy it for yourself as well, if you are preparing for IPMAT Indore and want to get that college specifically. So Warhead asked me a very important question: can we repay the loan for IPM easily after placement? So usually many banks offer a loan in such a way that you can start repaying the loan after 1 year of your placement. So there's some kind of a rule for that. So it's very flexible, I must say, and you could definitely avail of their services as well. Once you get into IIM Indore, there would be a lot of banks who are going to call you. Even I received a lot of banks that please take our loan at 6.7% if you are generally looking for a loan. Obviously, so we do have a lot of banks who get in touch with us after we get selected, right? Then can calculus come in IPMAT paper this year? So calculus is something which is not generally asked in IPMAT. Like you won't be asked like the differentiation of sine square x, or like the integration of cos cube x as well. So these are things which are not asked in IPMAT. You can take my word for that. And yeah. So yeah, we do have people in our batch with past academic scores as 70 to 75% as well. So yeah, we definitely have those kind of people as well. It's not that people who get into IIM Indore have 90-95% only. So the thing behind that is that mostly students who are diligent enough are diligent enough to prepare for the exam as well as for the academics that they undertake, right? So if you're diligent enough, you would have a very good grasp of the concepts in 11th and 12th, and therefore generally what happens is, if you are a high scorer, then you have a higher probability of cracking IPMAT, because you would be more likely to answer the questions put forward by the panel. But again, goes without saying, if you have a lower score, let's say you are 70 to 80% only, and you have generally, again, very thorough with the questions that are being put forward with the by the panel members, then you can definitely get a good score in the interview round as well. So last year, Vandana, the score was around 107. Again, I'm adding all the three cutoffs. I don't know exactly, but it was 107, 110 out of 240. That's how much I remember out of it. And no, there is no dress code inside the campus. We do have AC in our classrooms, but not in our rooms. But the ventilation there is amazing, so you don't actually really need an AC in most parts of the year, right? So Nihal, no, I did not apply for any role from any bank. So yeah, then um, then I'm also getting a lot of questions regarding is IIM Jammu worth it if I'm joining IIM Jammu by taking a loan. So IIM Jammu also provides you the option to leave at any point of time, right? It gives you option to exit after 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years. So you can avail of that as well if you feel that there is any better opportunity waiting for you. And regarding IIM Jammu, it's something which is a very new program, just like others, and therefore I would suggest that you go over the curriculum they have, and if you think that there is any other institution which has similar curriculum, then I would suggest ki go ahead with that as well. Apurva Yadav asked me about the books. So books is something which we've already covered in a lot of videos which are there on our channel. So you could just see those videos, and I think you will be good to go. Fanzila asked me about are you in campus right now? No, I am not in campus. I am at home. Ankit, how much importance they give to communication skills in interview? They give a lot of importance. Apart from the academics, so academics always rules the roost. You have to make sure that your academics are top notch, and if that is the case, they also see how you communicate the answers, how confident you are. I would also suggest going through the video series which Siddharth Rastogi sir had put forward to us. So if you haven't checked out that particular video series, then please go and check it out because he talks a lot about the interviews, the examination, the competition, and that is something which will really help you, right? So I suggest that go ahead and watch those videos. I'll put the link of the same as well. And if you haven't watched our latest video with Professor Aditya Maheshwari as well, ensure you do that. Okay, I'm putting the video of uh, Professor Siddharth Rastogi here. It was a very insightful interview that I had with him, and he spoke a lot about Ipmat, just like Professor Aditya Maheshwari in our latest interview. Right, so you can go have a look at that as well. Hi Rishabh. So your question is UniVoyage launching its mock test series anytime soon? So we are planning to, maybe next month we will launch, but the process for it is still undergoing, and we will try to make sure that if we provide you mocks, then it will be of the best quality. Um, Krishna Gupta asked me, are there any summer internships for first 3 years or not? So there is no mandatory but internship which is put forward by IIM Indore. You can do so, but again the internships can't be permanent or like full-time roles. You can't engage in full-time internships during the course of ITM. And at the end of the second year, we do have a social internship which we have to do either with an NGO, a particular corporate social responsibility wing of a company, or so on. That is compulsory, and that is something which we're doing right now. I am also right now doing an internship with the CSR wing of a company, and some of them are working with the NGO, some of them are working with organizations that have a very big social impact as well. So yeah. So IIM Indore is asking me, doing LOD 1 and LOD 2 will be sufficient for quants part? Again, LOD 1 and 2 of what? And I think you're talking about Arun Sharma, but it totally depends on what you are doing and if you are following the material to the T. So if you are, let us say, doing Arun Sharma fully, maybe it would cover most of the parts, but again, topics like trigonometry and stuff are not covered because those are not asked in CAT usually. So, again, totally depends on you and how you go about studying. Vismay, what do you mean by why can't I send a SC? What do you? If you mean to send a super chat, thank you so much. I'll give you my UPI ID. You can text me on Telegram. You could give it to me there, but we don't accept any super chats here. If you have any query, then I can totally address it. And thank you so much if you're talking about super chats. Yeah. Um, how much you scored in your mocks for IPM at like in the first mock? So I'll share my mock. Um, Excel spreadsheet with you guys. Let me check if I have that with me. Um, Let me see. Yes, I do have that with me. So you guys are lucky enough to check that out as well. This is my mock test sheet. You can have a look at that. And thank you guys for staying around. You get to see my mock test sheet, and I hope that this helps you. You could just click on the link and hopefully that opens up. What is the difference in CDC from students from CAT and IPM? So Jay, there is no particular distinction which is there. So what I would suggest is that once any student gets into IPM, whoever a lot of you would get into IPM, I really hope from the bottom of my heart. And when you get into IIM Indore, I would suggest that make sure that you focus on either developing some skill or obviously focusing on academics is a priority, but even apart from that you should develop some skill or some trait which would again go ahead and help you in your future roles as well. So if you want to get into consultancy jobs like a MBB, McKinsey, Bean and Company, and a BCG, you'll have to have a very good grade. That's usually the norm which is there. You should have very good academics, and apart from that you should have good analytical skills as well. So these are some things which are very important when you are talking about placements, right? So, Vignesh, you are a PWD student, so you would require a very low cutoff comparatively. You could check out the 2021 RTI notification which is given by IIM Indore. Just go to IPM at Indore and click on the site. There would be a RTI notification, IPM 2021-26 batch. There would be a notification of that, and just click on that, download the file, and you will be able to see all the details there. Right. So, yeah. Then, any other question that I have here? Yeah, for all the people uh, who have thanked me for this, thank you so much for turning up. It is really cool that you guys are still here. And is it really necessary for local IIM? No. Yeah, so it is necessary for you to live in IIM hostel. That is compulsory. You can't just go out and stay one day at a house and then come back because it's a rule. And you are definitely allowed to go to the city and have your share of fun as well. Like we personally had that option to go out I think it was introduced a month or so back, and we were allowed to go to the city in shuttle buses, and that was on Wednesday and Sunday, and we had to come back before 11 p.m. if we wanted to get a entry to the campus, right? So that is one really good thing which Amin did for us. We were able to travel to the city and explore the city as well. So Indore is a beautiful city. In fact, it is the cleanest city in the country for a few years now. So yeah. From where did you take mocks? So I took mocks literally from everywhere. Any free mock which I got, or even my friends who were, let us say, only preparing for NPAT, I told them to like just let me attempt the IPMart mocks from their account as well. So I've given mocks literally from any account that I could, and that is the problem that I also found that a lot of coaching institute don't have IPMAT centric syllabus as well. They're just like BBA, CLAT, and IPMAT together. So that is something which is not really addressed by a lot of institutes, and that's another reason why I started UniVoyage. So, hmm, is IPM Indore exam of J means level? So Mahima is asking that, and if you talk about G, that is something which is too hard to crack, to be honest. I'm a commerce student, so I really do not know a lot about JEE exams. So, but what I would tell you is that it is not that tough, to be honest. It's not JEE level. It is, let us say, two, three notches below that. That is what you can say. What score did you did in Ipmat? So I got around. I don't know the exact marks I got, but it should be around 160. That is what I'm expecting my score to be, because I did some questions wrong. I remember. So that is something which must have lowered my score, but definitely in the end I managed to get in. So my campus has started. It's not that my campus is not started. I've already been to Amandar, and I'm here for my summer internship under a social sphere, right? So if interview don't go well, how much should the score be in aptitude test? So if your interview doesn't go well, then you should have a higher percentage of score that is there for your aptitude test. So then you can target around 200 to 240 in marks, and maybe that will give you a boost which is required for you to get into Amazon, right? Approximately how much marks will one have to give? So it totally depends on you. So if you could see my link here, which I shared with every one of you, I attempted around 20 to 25 marks, and I was still able to get decent marks, right? Yeah, thank you so much, Rohan. But there are new users who are coming in, and I would really like to address all of your doubts. And guys, if you could take a moment and hit the like button, it'll mean the world to me, because it again just helps us get to a lot of people who are actually generally needing very succinct information and precise information regarding IPMAT. So if you would just take a moment and hit the like button, it'll be a big help to me. So Shriyansh asked me again a very widely asked question: is Jammu and Bodh Gaya worth joining? So Jammu and Bodh Gaya are something who the IIM Jammu and IIM Bodh Gaya have launched their IPM in 2021, and their IPM is still under the works. They're still working on building a very sustainable syllabus and something which they could replicate on. Like the coming batches as well. So I don't have a lot of information regarding this team, and these IIMs have just started out, so we don't know in which direction they're heading right now. Whereas IIM Indore had started in 2011, we are have a lot of pass outs already. We have a lot of alumni as well, and therefore that adds a lot of credibility to IIM Indore. And apart from that, also IIM Indore is one of the top six IIMs which are there in the country. So that is why I ask people to focus on IIM Indore. And if you don't get in, God forbid, then you could focus on the other exams if you feel that the institute which is taking the exam is worth getting into, right? So yeah. What about RS Agarwal? So personally, I didn't use any of RS Agarwal material, so I won't be able to answer that question as well. But a lot of students or people who used who actually got into Amanda did. So it totally depends on whatever suits for you. So Priyanshu, I used all of the coaching material. I got anything which I got online from people, from friends. I used to make sure that I get hold of anything which I got, and whether it is online, offline, or whatever I could get my hands on. So Vamshi, for closing rank for IIM Indore would be, if you're talking about the general category, I think it should be around 70 to 80. Uske baad, then you have a very less chance of getting in, including the waitlist movement as well. So, although the intake for Amandor is 150 students, another perk for all the people who are still there with us right now, I'd like to tell you that the intake is not exactly 150 students. There is a slight increase which is there, because sometimes for people who don't enroll, then Amandor calls the next batch of students who are there according to the ranks as well. So sometimes the students that we have exceed 150 as well. So that is some good news for uh, you as well. So there is not exactly 150 people, it's around 150, 160, and therefore you have a slightly higher chance of getting in if you are very close enough as well. So as I said, your rank for general category should be around 65 to 70 if you want to get a good IIM Indore score. um, IIM Indore selection call, I think. Yeah, because above that then it really depends on the wait list movement. Yeah. Seema Singh asked me, has IIM Ranchi shifted to its main campus? I guess that it is under renovation, and I think they have. I'm not very sure about that, so I won't comment. But if you could text me on Telegram, I'll surely get back to you on that as well. Thank you so much. Then the next question that we have is EWS rank. EWS categories, they have a very less, the cutoff for them is very less, so the chance of you getting in that particular category is high if you do belong to that category, of course. So its intake is around 14, I think. EWS around 14 people are taken for the IIM Indore batch. So again, I'm getting a lot of queries regarding the verbal ability section. So I've told a lot of people regarding this that first of all, reading is something which you need to do, because when you read, you understand a lot about what you are like, what is a passage about, and you also increase your um, comprehending skills, right? So that is something which you should definitely focus on. Reading will help you improve your comprehending skills, and when you're reading, what you could do is after you finish the article, you could just write down a few words which you might not have understood during the course of reading the particular passage, and note down those words, note down the particular or peculiar grammar rules that you might have seen in the particular article as well. And then once you do that, it will really help you in going ahead and solving the RCs specifically. So there are two parts of verbal ability, I could tell you. There are two broad domains. One is, let us say, the reading part, where you have to read and analyze what is going on. So for that aspect, you need to make sure that your comprehending skills are amazing, and that is something which is not going to happen in a day or two, right? You need to make sure that you cultivate that habit by reading and reading and reading. That is no shortcut for that. There is no shortcut for the same, and you will have to read. Okay. Now that we've understood that we have to read, then what is the next step? So don't read just for the sake of reading. Read for comprehending what is going on, understand what is going on. If there is a sentence, don't try taking a literal conversion, or um, yeah, sorry for the disturbance there. Don't try to take the literal meaning of that. Try to understand what the author is trying to communicate through this sentence. That is what good reading comprehensions are about. You need to understand that what is underneath this sentence, what are they trying to say. So once you have reached that level, then you will be able to comprehend better, है ना? And if you have mastered the reading ability, then the questions would be a cakewalk for you, right? So that is the first part, that is reading comprehension. Now the second part is about the grammar. So you do need to know a lot about the grammar rules which are there, some idioms which are there, some phrases which are there, and good vocabulary as well. So these are things which you'll have to study by your own. You have to go to the internet, or go read about it on Ren and Martin or Word Palm etc, whatever source that you follow. And that is something which you'll have to develop by yourself as well, I know. So make sure that you go ahead, you read a lot, and that will solve the reading part. And for the second part, which is about vocabulary and stuff, you will have to make sure that you actually go ahead and write those idioms down, you memorize them. Because इसमें क्या होता है ना, let us say you have a question that Sakshi dash when she took the credits of the project from me. So what would be the appropriate fill in the blank for this? It would be steal my thunder, right? So if you don't know what steal my thunder is or steal your thunder is, then in the examination you won't even be able to guess these kind of idioms, right? Because these are idioms which are already written, and you need to know about them while learning them. It's not that something based on comprehending, right? You have to know these particular idioms or phrases or words, right? So I would suggest that become a voracious reader. If you don't know the meaning of the word, again go search it up, and that is something which will really help you. Right. If you come in the waiting list, Yuvraj, it again depends on uh, your chance of selection. Again, really depend on whether your rank is higher, or it also depends on a lot on your category as well. Right. Um, Furthermore, let's see if you have any other questions. What does negative numbers in your mock sheet mean? So negative number means that the total number of questions which have got wrong. So there is negative one for each and every this thing, right? For each and every question you do wrong, there is a negative number. So that is what is denoted by the negative numbers. In case you still want the link to my mock sheet, I'll just post it here. So then I'll again just go ahead and answer the other queries as well. Um, do you provide your personal handwritten notes in the crash course? Yes, so I do provide my handwritten notes as well. For people who are enrolled in the crash course, they have access to my verbal ability as well as my quantitative aptitude books, along with the videos, live classes, the mocks, and everything. So mocks are available to our crash course students, which is available for rupees 7,999 at the moment. So if you are planning to prepare for IIM Indore and still have not enrolled in a coaching, we definitely have a look at us as well. So the best time to start prep for your PI is actually you need to make sure that you are already prepared for the personal interview. If you've watched our interaction with Professor Aditya Maheshwari, you would know about that, because preparing for PM just means going through the notes and the subjects that you had in the 11th and 12th grade, right? So if you know about that, you will be in a very good position to answer those questions in the PI, and that is what is generally the PI restricted to. So yes, I am at home, currently home. Thank you for asking. Um, Yuvraj, so that communication is done through the mails which you provide to Amandor, and it should be around 1 month at max, which it leads to, and uske baad to it, you are definitely told about anything and everything that is to be communicated, right? And do we get a job after IPM? Yes, Astush, you do get a job after IPM, because IPM is a 5-year course, including the 2 years of Masters in Business Administration, known as MBA as well. So you have a very good chance of getting a job if you have done decent at your academics and other things as well. So I had 97% in my 10 boards and 91.69% in my 12th boards. I think, yeah, that's about it. Yeah. That's my grade. I'm not very sure, but yeah. Um, So Uday asks us a very important question again, which will boards percentage matter a lot in Indore? If I have it around 85 in 12th and 88 in 10th. So Uday, those are very decent marks. I think you have a very good chance of getting selected, provided again you do across the other barriers which are there as well. And again, your board marks don't matter in your selection. They do leave a impression on the interviewer's mind, but again that is subjective, and if you're able to answer the questions which are put forward by the panel members, then you definitely have a very good chance, right? Then let's see what are the questions that we have till then. Yeah, so my rank was AIR 36, if I'm not wrong, right, for in the general category, and overall it was AIR 37 overall, right? Then yeah, how long did I prepare for I am Indore? As I said, 3 months. Um, yeah, so those of you who have asked for my mocks, paper pad like paper marks, I have already shared the link with you. I'll just post it here once again. Here you go. And yes, Praveen, I have visited the campus. Uh, Funzilla, I am at home right now. And just let me check if we have any other queries here. So can you give me a detailed account of your interview? So I did not have an interview. I had a video based assessment. We were asked three questions. One was about the role model you have and why is that person your role model. Then one question was about um, I think it was, I don't actually remember. It was where do you find perspective or something. It was something like that. And yeah, I don't remember. But I know that my role model that I had selected was Professor from Money Heist. And I had a lot of fun shooting that particular video for video based assessment as well because you had to be in formals and it was a proper shoot that I had. So it was very, very fun. So the fees, Harshita asked us about the fees. So the fees is actually not a very big problem because the financing options available with the banks are very robust as well. You could make sure that you avail of those facilities as well. So someone asked me if it is possible to crack IPMAT in 30 days with preparing for 10 hours daily. So yes, definitely if you are preparing for IPMAT on a daily basis for 10 hours, then definitely. But if you're preparing for 10 hours, I don't think you'll be studying for all those 10 hours, but just make sure that you take enough breaks as well. So, yeah. So, how much should we focus on IPMAT exam during the boards exam? So, you need to ensure that you at least don't exactly leave it off or just discard your IPMAT prep material during the boards as well. Just do it for 1 or 2 hours a day, and that should be enough, right? So, I also have a question regarding for now. I should complete syllabus first to start giving the topic mocks simultaneously. So you should start giving the mocks first of all before doing anything, so you know where you stand. And after that is done, then you can study a little and then give study some topics, then give. And then if you notice a particular pattern that you are not able to do this particular topic, even after studying, then you can go on and explore the internet and find more question on the particular topic and solve it. So that is something which you can do. So, guys, just give me 1 minute. I am really thirsty. Give me a minute to drink water. Until then, if you haven't liked this particular live stream, please do so. It really motivates us to make more videos and again spread this out to people who actually want to prepare for the exam. Just give me a minute. So, guys, I didn't get a chance to ask you about how you guys are doing. Like, is everyone fine and safe at your homes? What is the condition like? Is everyone doing well? So loan at IIM Ranchi is again sometimes the when the tag of an IIM gets to you, then the banks will just line up to give you a loan. That is what the general norm is, and usually if the ROI for and the CTC for that particular IIM is good, then the bank won't hesitate a lot before giving you a loan. So calculator is not allowed like if you're talking about a physical calculator, but definitely if you have a we do have a digital calculator which is there along with your exam as well, which you can use to calculate whatever you want, right? But I wouldn't really recommend using the calculator. That's why I lay a lot of emphasis on you using mental math and learning to calculate things faster. Um, So, so is it still possible to get into IIM Indore if we start preparing from scratch? So, to be honest, you are never actually really preparing from the scratch, because you already have at least some knowledge or the basics of how things are going about, right? Like if you're talking about ratio proportion, you do have a basic knowledge of like how the interest and stuff work out. And even if you don't, if you prepare diligently, that's what I believe. If you prepare for, let us say, 5-6 hours a day daily, and you are having about 2 months of prep to do, then you still have a very good chance, provided that your basics are clear and again you have a good grasp over your verbal ability. Um, so hi Anshit, first of all, thank you so much for following us for a year. And you are actually not really grilled on current affairs. It depends on the professor that is there. So if the professor wants to ask you a lot about current affairs, then he will. But one thing definitely you will be asked is that you would have to have a good grasp over the academics that you have currently. So make sure to prepare very well for that, Sanchit. And yeah, if you would definitely want to have a good shot at IIM Indore, you can definitely consider joining UniVoyage as well. We have our admissions open to 2023 batch as well. So, um, yeah. So, Rohan, I already answered about verbal, so I won't be repeating myself. It's about 4 to 5 times that I've answered that. So, you can have a look at whatever I've said. Um, So Ankit, I would suggest that do something motivational. So I'll tell you one thing which motivated me was that I used to keep reminders on my phone every night that used to just tell me that I'll crack IPMAT, I'll crack IPMAT, and that is something which really pushed me to study for the exam, right? And this is something which has really helped me in coping with all the competition and the tough guys out there. So it has really helped me in making sure that I am sane and at the same time don't lose focus over my studies while preparing for IIM. Right. Any other question, guys? Um, so Uday, to be disciplined and consistent, you need to make sure that you actually have a very good sense of discipline. You have a very good work ethic as well. So I've been reading this book called Atomic Habits. I'll recommend you to read that book because it talks about how to build good, consistent habits. So there is identity, which every person has. There you have an identity. So you need to make sure that you align your identity in a way that you um, try to accomplish the goals that your identity wants to. If you're trying to accomplish a goal which is different from your identity, you would not end up doing that, right? So I would recommend you to read Atomic Habits. So if you can do that, it'll be great. And let me know your review of it as well. Uh, so I think we are done. Um, do you guys have any genuine question which I have not answered previously? Then let me know. I'll wait for a minute and use the let us say the heart sign if you want me to pay attention to your question. Let's see. So Purvashi, yes, you can crack IPMAT with 11th and 12th maths and Arun Sharma quants and mobile ability. Yes, but again, just make sure that you diligently prepare, and if you have put in the efforts generally, then there would be no one who will stop you. So people do quit. We actually have a lot of students who've gone to IIM Ahmedabad as well after completing the 3 years at IIM Indore. So you do have the exit option as well. If you're asking about that, Mavericks is asking me, what does Ranchi look for a student? So Ranchi again, like all the IIMs, they look for students who are academically well behaved, to be honest, and also they have a good sense of what they want to do, like not in terms of the career, but they have a very clear thinking path and are also having good communication skills. So everyone wants all rounder and people who are diligent, right? So that is something which every institute would want to have. And yeah, and also guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. It does mean a lot to me. And also like this particular live stream. I'm sorry I'm saying this for the fourth or fifth time, but it really means a lot to us and would help us in getting to a large number of students. um So apart from the 4 lakhs, we do have some expenses which we have to pay for, like the food that we have, or what we order from Zomato, Swiggy, or in the campus as well. So yeah, some important topics for quants would be algebra together, and then you have topics like geometry as well, and then modern mathematics like permutation, combination, etc. So how important a hobby for personal interview? A hobby is not really important for personal interview, Ankit. So you could just candidly talk about what you do in your pastime and what hobby do you have, and that should be enough while addressing the panel when you're talking about an interview. No, Gunjan, 12th class percentage is not very important as long as you're getting around 60% or above, it's totally fine. So, Mohammed, that shouldn't be a big issue if you're getting 97 and then you are about to hit 94, 95 as well. That should not be an issue. Focus on preparing for Ipmat Indore if you really want to get into the IBM program, right? Emma, so IPMAT kids do usually get good placements, good placements, but again, compared to BGP students, it's subjective. So it also depends on the particular person as well. So if you are a person who's upskilled for the all the 5 years or have put in considerable effort into their academics as well, then definitely you do have a upper hand. So they do send a mail regarding the fact that you have not been selected, but God forbid, I hope you don't receive that mail. That- so Prakhar, I would suggest that do a lot of mocks, and as long as you're doing that, you should be on a very good path of determining whether you're in a good position to crack or not. And I really hope that you do well in case of preparing for the same. Yeah. Yes, Jaya, even I agree with you. Arun Sharma is made for cat, but a lot of students do go for Arun Sharma as well, and they find it feasible. So it is a personal choice. So whoever asking the question regarding Arun Sharma LOD2, it's something which depends on you. If you don't understand a particular LOD or something, and if you feel it's very tough, then might as well not do it, right? And books for verbal ability, we already have covered the books wala video. I'll just send you the link for the same. Kushal Somani from IIM Indore has already covered. He's also a very good chat. Let me give you the link for the same. Yeah, there you go. For books, here we have the link, and yeah. So IPM for me, it is worth it. I really love the program which we have right now, and yeah, I really hope that all of you who are generally preparing for the exam do get into the program as well. So I think all of the questions are now becoming redundant because I'm just answering the same again and again. So I'll end the meeting here. And thank you so much for coming in, guys. I really appreciate taking time out for being a part of this meeting. And just before you go, if you haven't liked, just drop a like for the same. And prepare hard, prepare consistently, and keep motivating yourself to do well in the exam. And if you do all of that, trust me, you have a very good chance of getting in, right? So I want you guys to give your best shot, and if you do so, then I really hope to see you on campus. If you get selected, just message me regarding the fact that you got selected, and we'll definitely celebrate on campus, right? And if you haven't started preparing for the exam and you generally want to prepare for Amandor, then you could opt for our crash course as well. I'll put the link for the same here. and we're offering it at very affordable rates of 7,999 when others are offering it at very higher prices. So we want to make sure that we offer each and everything under one basket. And I do have some mentorship sessions and personal sessions where I address all the paid members of our organization as well. So you can have a look at that as well if you feel that you like our content. Thank you so much, guys. And so Gunjan, I actually had very different plans of how I would go about it. I've also made a list of. I think Vedika had made a video on the schedule, right? So, schedule for the Ipmat Indore exam I'll also share with you. Study plan. So Vedika had made a very good video. It has got about 16,000 views as well. You could have a look at that. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. So, first of all, Indore would be my first preference, and apart from that, then you could choose whatever program that you find good. Because IIM Indore is again a Bachelor's of Arts and Foundations of Management. So, if you don't like arts and management, then I wouldn't recommend you joining, because you shouldn't do something which you are not passionate about. That's what I believe in. So, Ankit, they anyways ask you about your favorite subject in PI, so don't worry about that. Okay, so thank you so much, guys. Take care, stay safe, and really hope to see you guys soon. And in case you have any queries, just message me on Telegram. I'll put the link for the group here as well, in case you haven't yet joined our group. And again, thank you so much for turning up in such large numbers. I really appreciate each and everything. Thank you so much, guys. Chala. Bye, guys. Take care.